Hmm. Uh, yeah. You know, Mr. Adam Mockler, I give that video the title, I Can't Believe It Is True, you know? And so-called computer team from Germany. In the year of 1993, access to the brain cells since at least 1987. Then in the year of 1993, those dirty, rotten German Nazis, remember the year 1993, yes, those computer Nazis, they start sending electricity inside the nerves, let the electricity flow non-stop, you know, and they send the electricity on the nerves inside the teeth. And that electricity start to burn the teeth away. In the same year, those wicked coward Nazis, uh, don't worry, because the Nazis, they organized two different computer lines to the body. Yes, two different. That's very important for the truth. You know, the German Nazis they never care about the truth. They hide the reality as well as the truth. Uh, and in the year of 1993, those Nazis also start keeping me awake. So after a few weeks of torturing inside the sleeping cells, they always kept me awake for about 3 days and 3 nights. And then they let me alone, let's say for a few days. And then they start again, keeping me awake. Always such days, 3 days and 3 nights, or 4 days and 4 nights, you know. And also in the year of 1993, one of that computer Nazi crews, who also burned the teeth away, has that wicked coward Nazi. He always is protected by the minister who lead those computer Nazis. So what are they actually doing when they are able to torture people inside the sleeping cells and don't let them live their normal life, like working? When somebody keep you awake for 3 days and 3 nights, the next day or the next 2 days, you are totally destroyed physically. You know, you need time to recover from the torture. And then they start again. Yes. And in that year, 1993, that dirty Nazi also organize another war crime, if it is a war crime. So let me tell you something. When a computer Nazi have access to your sleeping cells and is able to keep you awake and later on also torture you into coma, huh? As what kind of technology you classify that technology? You can also ask that Tusli Gabbard, what kind of technology is that? Huh? If you can use computer, have access to human sleeping cells, and keep them awake till they are in coma, that torturing me into coma. That happened in 1996. Yes. But in 1993, he started keeping me awake, blocked me from having my own life, my own income, my own working, my own future plans, everything destroyed, you know, because you don't have any kind of income anymore. So they torture you into the lowest there is in that country you in. It means a social security. So let me explain further. In the year of 1991, I was working full time as a repairing mechanic uh, in a company who produce electricity, who win electricity by using water power, you know? And there I was working on a generator. I made some repairing with a welding machine outside the generator, on that skin of the generator, you know? And that day, when that happened, I talk now about the year of 1991. Huh? I started my day at 6 o'clock in the morning. I always have an alarm bell, and I had breakfast, and then I went on my bicycle. I drove about 8 kilometers to my working place. Yes. That time I had hired an apartment where I was sleeping, and then uh, I drove with a car, with a bicycle to my working place, about 8 kilometers. And I started working at 7 o'clock. And then about 2 hour, 2.5 hours later, I noticed something which I couldn't explain to me myself, you know. Suddenly I start getting tired, such tired, I stopped working. I laid down my working equipment which I had. That was an electrode in my hands, a helm on my head, and clothes I had. So I sit down, huh, and about 5 minutes later, I lay down, and few minutes later, I was in deep sleep. And you know what's really fucked me up that time? I didn't have any kind of resistance, which you usually have if you get tired and want to go on bed. You always can force yourself, not sleeping yet. Go in the kitchen and drink a coffee or whatever you do, huh? Yes, because you want to do anything. It's up to you. You decide when you go to sleep. But that time, you don't have any kind of fight against that, getting tired. And that took, in original time, between 10 and 15 minutes. I was at my working place about 10 o'clock in the morning in deep sleep, you know. Now consider this. They stimulate me into deep sleep in 1991. In 1993, they decide to keep me awake to force me to live on Social Security, the lowest level. It means they create starvation condition permanently. If you think permanently, when they did that in 1993 or 1996, huh? Yes, they never left the brain cells, those coward Nazis, you know, because they are still controlling inside the brain cells. So it means for the victim like me, that really does not matter who is fucking minister. Yes? The system, the Nazis who run the system, they are computer experts and they keep their brown weapon as Nazi egg on that computer machine, you know? And every fucking defense minister is a so-called dirty dictator, yes? Because he owns that bioweapon and gene weapon Nazi coup, yes? And I don't know what you would do, huh? And when you make a video, like a live video, or on a live video, the Nazis never know what the brains spit out on words. But sometimes, you know, the Nazis who are placed inside the brain cells, they have your home equipment, yes, under computer control. Perhaps you ever listen to uh, Al Gore, Pennsylvania governor. You know, he also runs a project called Cities in the Net. You know, and when those words use the electricity pipes inside your home for all kind of other things, oh, they want to have access to your garage. They want to have access perhaps to your door. They want to have access to your windows, to close your windows automatically, you know. It means they lead electricity over your electricity field and search inside your home for each electronic device. And as soon as you plug in your electricity, for instance, charging your handy or cooking anything or go in the shower and take a shower, There's a boiler, the electricity boiler, you know, or you have a Wolfram light, you know. The people like Al Gore, they climb inside the electricity and they see each component which use electricity. They just climb through. They just isolate the tool, yes, like your home computer. They just go through with their capacity, you know. Never forget, they are actually programming brain cells and are online inside your head. And then, you know, that wicked coward Nazi when I talk about the year of 1993. Nas, he sent again a video inside my dreaming cells. Nas, and when the Nazis started with that movie, Nas, uh, the torture inside the dreaming cells, it's a so-called flexible program. You know, you decide what time you go to bed, and when you sleep, the flexible program is set. Uh, the Nazi who control that machine, which is linked to your body, that Nazi decide what time he sent the video inside your dreaming cells. Yes? So the time he decide what time he sent. And then your brain cells are forced to recognize, to suffer from that video the Nazis place inside your dreaming cells. Yes? You understand that? And while the Nazis send videos inside your dreaming cells, they are used to spying inside your thinking cells what you think about that video, you know? And now I go back, I leave the year of 1991, I leave the year of 1993, I leave the year of 1996, back to the year of 1987, the time where the German Chancellor, Dr. Kohl, and that time when Dr. Kohl were German Chancellor, those Nazis started sending videos inside my dreaming cells. Yes. The first time was in November 87. That was the first time. And the videos they stimulate inside your dreaming cells, they were quite violent. You know, the first video I saw, that was a woman, a brunette woman. She had a white dress. She was dressed in white, you know, and on her stomach there was red, a big size of red, you know. And when I saw that, because I knew that woman, when I saw that woman were wearing a white dress and the stomach were bleeding, were red, when I wake up, I thought something will happen to her. Perhaps she get hit by a knife or whatever, you know. So why those Nazis doing things like that are allowed to do so to torture you inside the dreaming cells to spy inside your thinking cells, and your thoughts is Nazis' property, Nazis' computer property. So, since 87, uh, who was the Nazi minister who ran that dreaming cell computer machine? Because that time was streaming cells. And then, later on, you know, 1987, 1988, 1990, 1991. And then, suddenly, inside the sleeping cells, stimulate you at your working place. Huh? Yes, they don't send that video inside your uh, inside the night when you're sleeping. No, they have any kind of emergency, perhaps, which they want to present. The brain activity. Huh? They never question what kind of computer or what computer will be able or are able to do. You know? No, that is a reality. And that wicked coward Nazi who started to keep me awake. That Nazi also organized acoustic torture inside the head. In the year of 1993, the same day, the same time when that Nazi started to torture me into Social Security by keeping me awake, yes, and block me from working. He always have his brown weapon SS Nazi X on the computer keyboard. And now I explain you what he's working on. Yes, bionic weapon, but not only bionic weapon. You know, it's not only bionic weapon. You agree with me, huh? When somebody stimulate you into deep sleep, as well as torture you into coma, which he did in the year of 1996. Yes? And in the meantime, huh, he destroy, he have totally control over your life. And he don't allow you to work to have your own money. Yes? Why? And now go back to the year of 1991, when that Nazi stimulate me into deep sleep and forced me to see a video inside my dreaming cells in virtual reality. Yes, that was what he is doing in 1991. Yes, and I went to the police. I accused those unknown computer Nazis of doing things like that, stimulate me into deep sleep and torturing me inside the dreaming cells. That's why I went to the police. And I asked the police and the prosecutor. It's always the prosecutor who decides whether the police investigating or not. And when the prosecutor closes the case, what you doing? Huh? You apply against his decision to the next prosecutor. And when he also closes the case, you have the next prosecutor, the last in your local country, you know, local country like you, yeah? Chicago, local country, Illinois, you know. Yes, that was not Rhine-Westphalia. They closed all cases. Yes, each one. And I describe that like it really was. Yes, even when they move parts of the body, like that fucking Nazi crew did in the year of 1996. They also moved my legs, yes, in the year of 1996. And that was such painful. I was screaming. I never screamed like that before in my entire life. You know, I was on my bed. I was reading something, and then suddenly it started. It's flexible program, you know. He decides what time he sends that package inside the body. Oh, that was more than one package, you know. When somebody move your legs against your natural will, because you decide when you move your legs and not someone else from the computer. But the circumstance that he did that against uh, the body will, against the brain will, you know, and because it was such pain, and that Nazi, you know what he did at the same time? He had another software program he executed at the same time. You know, he had access to my voice muscles and he paralyzed my voice muscles. So no one in my neighborhood couldn't hear me screaming anything. You know, the screaming I did when he did that. Uh, I never screamed like that before in my entire life, no matter what kind of accident I had. Yes, never, never. And when you can do things like that, huh, is that classified as bionic weapon, which one Nazi plus a minister use against you, and where those Nazis, the computer components, the embedded chip, is able, hmm, to do things like that. Yes? So, you as a victim, first you don't know when they managed to place that thing inside your body. You start searching inside your own brain. When did they manage? When did they do that? When did they manage to place that thing secretly inside your body? You start investigating, you know. And there was the year of 1993 again. That was the first time I had access to the cold web. Yes? Never before. That was in an open library. I was sitting in the city where the Nazis torture me into coma, where the Nazis start burning my teeth away, where the Nazis started keeping me awake so I couldn't work anymore. And now you understand, huh? When people are living in such circumstance that they can't fight against that, what the Nazis are doing with your body, with your brain cells. Like in 1996, that dirty Nazi, huh? That time he had already acoustic access to my listening cells. And that, uh, talking inside your head, having microphone access to your listening cells and start talking day and night. That wicked coward Nazi, yes, he also organized that in a year. of 1993, after I went to the police in 1991, you know, and keeping you awake, block you from having or torture you into starvation conditions while your normal life, you are working, yes, and you earn between 5,000 and 10,000 euro each month, which means for that wicked coward Nazi, once you went to the police, oh, you don't drop that. You don't get that out of your mind when somebody torture you into deep sleep and torture you into coma. And the Nazi, he knows that precisely because he do things like that secretly without the knowledge of anyone with your body, you know. And when the police does not investigate, when the prosecutor close all cases, yes, by what I did, huh? What is left for you, huh? Because the Nazi who tortured me into coma, huh? The Nazi who started burning my teeth away using his computer keyboard and electricity, digital bits and bytes, Nazis poison to give us a half of time. Huh? Yeah, you know, you remember the time of Cyclone B? Huh? Yes, the Nazis changed their tools. They don't use poison like Cyclone B. They use electricity. Yes, bits and bytes. Those are the same Germans, precisely like in Auschwitz, precisely like that. And those wicked coward Nazis who tortured me into coma, who burned my teeth, he organized acoustic torture inside the listening cells, keep your brain occupied day and night. You know, that nice guy is now working for the Nazi Boris Pistorius, you know, and he also was working for the Nazi lady Lambrecht. Huh? Yes. Remember when he tortured me into coma? Remember when he burned my teeth away? Huh? He also, in the year of 1996, he creeped inside my asshole. Yes. You know your asshole have muscles, huh? Which you usually can control. In the year of 1996, that former Făcăruie computer Nazi, because that time was Făcăruie his boss. He creeped through the nerve system inside the asshole and stimulate the muscles. So it means for you as a tortured victim, you can't use a toilet anymore. You know? You try, you press, but nothing comes out. And after the first day, you start feeling uncomfortable inside your body. Huh? You still try to use the toilet, but nothing comes out. On the second day, you start getting pain inside your stomach. not inside your stomach. I mean inside your body. You know, everything starts falling, blowing up, and pressing, and it starts getting painfully. And on the third day, huh, on the third day, you start having tears in your eyes, and you go down on the ground. Huh? Yes, and you can't move anymore because everything, every moving of your body, doesn't matter what you move, your chest or your arms, huh, or your feet or your legs, everything is painful, and you have really tears in your eyes. And then the stomach liquid is coming up. Yes, all your darms, all your swollen salami inside your body is pressing on the stomach from below and press the stomach liquid up. And then, huh? I know what I did there. Yes, I had no other solution than take some oil, put the finger in my asshole, and pull things out. Yes, but the Nazi who did that, huh? Does he have an orgasm that time? I don't know. You know, each Nazi is sick, but they never realize how sick they are. You know, and never forget, those are Nazis in the year of uh, when the chancellor was Olaf Scholz. You know, the defense minister was Miss Lambrecht, and then that wicked coward Nazi who did all those things with me. Yes, he asked me to go in Ukraine, huh? Wishful thinking for the holy Nazis from Germany to keep away all harm of the government, huh? Of the computer Nazis. Huh? And when, Mr. Mockler, they started torturing inside the dreaming cells, huh? It means they were inside the brain since 87. And 1 year later, after they already were torturing inside the dreaming cells, huh, I had an operation on my body. Yes, I smashed my ear skin. I jumped in the water and it was broken. You know, my doc say the only way you have to do an operation on your left ear. So he signed me paper for the hospital, and the next day I went to the hospital. You know, they open first, they put around the ear everywhere the stitches, painkiller, yes, and then all the skin were swollen that you don't feel anything when they use a scalpel. Yes, and then they use a scalpel, they open the ear, and then they repair the skin, and then they close the ear again. Yes, that was happened uh, 10 months later after the Nazis torturing with the first movie inside my dreaming cells in the year of uh, 87. You know, and then in the year of 88, in September 88, I had that operation on my left ear. And without my knowledge, for the second time in my life, those dirty doctors, those Nazi doctors, actually was two. Yes. The first one is uh, called Dr. Kürten, Oberarzt. Uh, yes, not a doctor, a higher doctor, you know. And there was a private docent, Hommerich, who did those, who did that operation. Yes. And those Nazi doctors, they set in an RFID microscopic chip, yes, inside my left ear. That was born of a second computer Nazi coup, which the people organized. And that was a government of my local city, local country, like Illinois, North Rhine-Westphalia, with the capital city Düsseldorf. Yes? So that was born of the second embedded chip, which they placed, without my knowledge, without even mention inside the medical journal. Yes, was no written words that they place any kind of electronic device inside my head during that operation, you know? And later on, it turned out that it is a second computer connection to the party organized by the interim minister of North Rhine-Westphalia. Huh? At the time where it was placed in September 88, you know, the second computer Nazi coup, an interim minister. And later it turned out that it's a so-called political police, the National Security Agency at your country, Illinois, in Düsseldorf, you know. And I accused the interim minister Roll officially for once talking inside my head. That really was happening. I identify his word, his voice. There was no misunderstanding. I really identified his words, him, as the interim minister himself. The interim minister always has to do anything, a lot of things. He's not the guy who sits day and night, year after year, behind the computer and talking inside the head. No, it's not the interim minister, but his national security Nazi rats. Huh? So, when they place that thing, that was a social democrat interim minister Nazi Schnorr. No, it's Nazi Roll. They don't want to be Nazis, but they enjoy everything they're doing. You know? Yes, they enjoy. Huh? Like in 1996, that wicked coward Nazi. So now, as, when you know there are two computer pipes, and one of those Nazis Huh? Who torture you into coma, who terrorize you in the sleeping cells, who stop you from working, who stop you from having your own money. You know why? Because in 1991 I went to the police and I accused them for stimulating me into deep sleep, you know. And that dirty Nazi, huh? He know precisely I won't give in, but huh, he have still his computer machine, that dirty Nazi, who did all those things. And the second computer crew, it seems they only protect the military Nazis who use that bioweapon computer chip. But now let me explain that's not only a bioweapon. Huh? Yes, that is such wicked to torture people into starvation condition, huh? And to use that as instrument to continuously going doing things which I describe, not them. No, yes. The same when I say about the technical at your home. Huh? Yes, Mr. Mockler. Can you imagine? No matter what software program or system you are using, I guess you also use a Microsoft product at your platform, at your home equipment. Yes? Uh, and somebody disconnect your internet. Uh, somebody disconnect your sound. Somebody disconnect your keyboard function. Huh? Yes. And while you are online, let's say on a page on YouTube, and you are tried and you're typing a comment, huh? Yes, and then suddenly, before you send the comment, upload the comment, oh, the connection disconnected. You have to start the browser again. You know? Yes, and type the words, the written words, which were already written and prepared to send, to upload. They are gone. But the Nazis, they're taping uh, by having access to your home computer. And believe me, Adam Mockler, each Bill Gates software program is for any hacker. Huh? It does not really matter how you use the Microsoft program. Let's say you use Windows 11 or Windows 10 or whatever system you use to do your work, no matter where you work, on the media, social media, or in the bank, or in shopping, no matter where you use the software. Yes? For an expert and government employed, uh, yes, or a good hacker, uh, each software program which you use from Microsoft is like a Swiss cheese. Yes? And he knows that precisely. He can't lock all pages, all. Now he is unable to do so with his mouse, you know. And you notice when you have full pay, antivirus, anti spyware, whatever you use, No chance. The brains are programming Nazis. They hack wherever you go. Yes. And that's not only the things I do. Like when I watch YouTube videos, the Nazi rats who used to terrorize day and night inside the listening cells. Those Nazis also get inside the music I play at my home or on the street, wherever I go. Yes. The Nazis succeed to rape the audio frequency, and then you hear them talking inside the music I listen to. That happens on the other side as well when I watch YouTube videos. Huh? Yes. As a victim, you feel you live a fucking boring life. And when you uh, are isolated by social security, which the Nazis prepare for you, yes, that's such ugly just because they know when you are working, you have between 5 and 10,000 each month, and you are able to put 500 bucks for a lawyer to fight for the problems you really got. Yes, and that's a shame, huh? Because that wicked coward Nazi, he didn't want to end up in any kind of trial against him as well as the government. Yes, and you see all those things which those people did in the past. Yes, paralyzing the voice muscles. And that dirty Nazi, when he reaches in 1996 also the smelling salts, he terrorized, he sent ugly chemicals. I don't know where he got that from, but he stimulated inside the smelling cells. At that time he have already access, talking through his headset microphone inside my listening cells. And while he stimulated ugly chemicals inside the smelling cells, he talked inside the head, inside the listening cells. If you smell that, escape as quick as possible away from here. Huh? Yes, they treat us like the piss, you know. Those German military Pistorius Nazis from Bavaria, no really matters where they're sitting. Yes. I told you now the acoustic torturing methods they still using day and night, like today in the morning. uh, I wake up and the torture start. First inside the listening cells. Sexistic terror. Yes, sexistic terror. Lolita. Words like that. It's how they start. The morning. Huh? There you want to open your computer. Then the computer didn't start. Then you have to reconnect and plug in your disk. Huh? Yes, it's blocked. Why are they spying inside your thinking cells? You know, they block you from doing things like you want to do. Huh? Yes. And then those sexistic words in between. Yes. And they also use the forced methods on acoustic torture. You know, what kind of technology is able? to let words speak through the air. Huh? Yes. Like when you go in a kitchen and you let the water flowing to make the dishes. Huh? And the noise of the water, huh? The Nazis, they listen to the noise of the water, repeat that sound, and talking through their microphone and send it back to the place where you are living through the air. Yes? This is the fourth torturing method they use day and night. Those Nazis who are actually terrorizing inside the listening cells. Yes? So when the church bells are ringing to collect the people for uh, to pray or something, huh? Sometimes the church bells are talk. Sometimes the church bells uh, are ringing for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, and while the church bells are ringing, you listen to the sound by connecting to my listening cells. Grab the sound of the church bells out of my listening cells, transfer that to his speaker at his working place, uh, which can earplugs can be a headset, and then he talks through a microphone, perhaps a headset microphone, which is practical for those military Nazis and standard. Huh? Yes, and then his words speak through the air. Yes, it means when you make the dishes that the water which makes the noise is talking. The church bell which makes a noise is talking. The bus where you're driving with, the noise of the bus is talking. Yes? These are the same Nazi rats who terrorized, who started organizing in 1993 acoustic torture inside the listening cells. So now you see, they actually using four torturing, military torturing methods, four different acoustic. So that fucking Nazi crew, wherever they sit, they also get protected by their American Airlines friends. Yes, because I suspect those Nazis that they are actually sitting with American friends and where they can eat and having lunch and dinner in a fucking casino place, you know? So, uh, in the year of 1993, I had deja vu with an American talking guy. That was the time I was in Adana. Yeah. And before I went into Adana in the year of 1993, huh, I had a tortured movie again as flexible program executed inside my dreaming cells. Mhm. When the Nazis started with that movie, virtual reality movie, I found myself sitting under a railway bridge. Uh, and then the train were coming. Actually, my son was sitting on my knees under that railway bridge. And then the train is coming, getting louder and louder and louder. First, I protect the ears of my son. Then I press the ears between my knees to protect my own ears. And then Nazis movie were finished. Yes, I was wondering huh, how I get under the railway bridge. Huh? Where's my son? And all those things. And uh, that torturing movie got nothing to do with my son. They only use the image of him in that Nazi movie, you know? And that was a preparation, the organization of the Nazis for acoustic torture inside the head. Yes. And a few months later, after they did that, with that movie inside the dreaming cells, with that train, yes, um, when I was in Adana, I was listening the first time to a voice inside my head in 1993. The first time. Yes? But that was an American man. Yes? An American man. He talks in English or American language. And it seems he was observing me in Adana. Because the place where I was living at that moment when he talked inside my listening cells, that was a room. I was invited to stay at that place, and I had my own room. And in that room there was a garden door. The garden door was open that time. And then that Nazi voice, that American soldier, talking inside my head and said to me, "Close that door." I was confused. Huh? Somebody talk inside my head and see that there's a door which were open. So I was really confused a bit. And then I react on the words he said. "Sorry, I don't take any kind of military order. What you got to speak inside my head?" And you know what happened then? 2 days or 3 days later at the same place? Huh? Yes. The Nazis torture me again in the morning. Yes. As flexible program executed inside my dreaming cells. And when the Nazis started with that movie, it was also in the morning about 3 o'clock or something. My friends were sleeping, but that was 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, uh, I found myself sitting on the ground in a poor chamber or garage or whatever, without any kind of paintings or carpets on the wall. A dirty room, a poor room, a chamber. You know, and I felt depressed, emotionally, or unhappy. You know, and then in front of me, while I was feeling this depression or something, in front of me, uh, I saw a shotgun a revolver, and with my right hand I pick up the revolver, point it at my chest, and shoot me twice in my chest. Then I wake up. My reaction when I wake up, you fucking Nazis, is what I said. Something like that. Huh? Because I know this was the same Nazis who stimulate me into deep sleep, who torture me since 1987 inside the dreaming cells, you know. And now that was the first time inside the listening cells. Huh? And now the Nazis their own computer, videotapes that I committed suicide. How nice. Not me, I don't have that tape, but the Nazis. They enjoy torture like that, you know. So uh, now I'm going to stop that video. I hope you have uh, a nice experience with the postmodern time, huh? And I really hope, Adam, that the government never ever succeed to place any kind of computer chips inside your body and that you become a victim like me on anyhow, any kind, you know. Uh, Believe me, those are the worst and ugly Nazis which exist on the planet. Those computer Nazis. Yes, they running wireless Auschwitz systems for their amusement, and they rob everything which does not belong to them, like your life, you know, like your family, like your friends. Yes, they win images out of the head. And those are such ugly Nazis, the most sexistic Nazis on planet Earth. Believe me, when they win images out of your head, out of your seeing cells, and then they're programming movies out of it, and then they torture you inside the dreaming cells, as well inside your seeing cells, torture you in the hope that you get blind as fast as possible, is Nazi's solution, because they found out my dementia is not dement enough. So those Nazis, yes, they should get executed by law. Yes, death sentencing. It is what I wish. The Christian Social Union Computer Nazis from Bavaria, the Stuttgart Stammheim Computer Nazis from Stuttgart, from Rhineland-Pfalz, the Rammstein Matrix and the blue jean Nazis from Brussels. Yes, I wish you fucking German Nazis definitely death sentencing, but you still have your brown Nazi eggs on the computer screen and my home equipment and on your fucking Nazi machine.